Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary, and we are talking about the Foo Fighters today and their brand new record, Medicine at Midnight, which was released on February 5th. It's actually been leaked for quite a while, unfortunately. Like many things, it was shelved in 2020 for COVID reasons, and so the band pushed it back, released a few singles in front of it over the course of the last few months. But there's many of you that have probably already heard this record and formed an opinion about it, in which case I don't know why you're watching this video. Maybe there's something new that I could bring to the table. I'm not sure. But either way, I hope you enjoyed it. On the other hand, however, it's good. It's certainly not spectacular. I wouldn't classify it as a great album, but it is certainly good. It's worth listening to. 9 songs at 37 minutes. It is got that ideal conciseness that I'm looking for in an album. And Dave Grohl spoke about how they were looking for something to do for their 10th record on this project, talk about incorporating a dance feel. The major artist that he was citing as an inspiration for this record was David Bowie, and particularly the song "Fame," which, you know, there's a lot of parts of this record that definitely are evocative of that song. You can definitely feel the inspiration from that track and other Bowie tracks and other 80s musicians actually as well. But it just doesn't quite deliver for me, unfortunately. And what really what I find really funny is the 2 lead singles basically that came off the record, "Shame Shame," which the hook sounds like Fame almost, and the fact that they rhyme and the fact that the song itself is just kind of a shame is just almost too much irony for me to even stomach a little bit. But, you know, they incorporate some talking heads. There's kind of like this loose bass line. There's a lot of tracks on this song, honestly, that have that Brian Eno style of inspiration, trying to fill a lot of space with a little. You know, obviously Eno worked with David Bowie, the Talking Heads, U2. I mean, it would have been great, honestly, if the Foo Fighters had been able to get Brian Eno to produce this record. I think they probably could have come up with something really solid in line with what they were looking for. But unfortunately, this album just doesn't have an identity. You definitely hear that 80s influence, that Bowie-esque style in the music. But I mean, there's also times in the opening track, "Making a Fire," you know, it's a really good example of Grohl almost wanting to harken back to the Them Crooked Vultures project. And, you know, and he tries to swoon and croon like Josh Homme, and it's just not in his personality. He just doesn't have the mysterious ways of the Queens of the Stone Age lead singer, despite working with him on a number of projects as a frontman, and, you know, just trying to deliver, I guess, that mysterious, sultry style. It falls short. It just doesn't work for me with Grohl. And you know, the first half of the record I'm not a fan of. The second half of the record is great. Honestly, "Medicine at Midnight," the title track, is arguably the best song on the record, and I think is the best example of what they were trying to do. Ideally, you get a number of cool influences on that particular track. "Tears for Fears," Talking Heads. You know, it's a cool song, and it definitely, for me, is the highlight of the record anyway. You know, there's another part of the record that is awesome, I think. It just, for 9 songs, it feels out of place. There's definitely some homage paid to Lemmy from Motorhead. The song "No Son of Mine," you'll hear the riff immediately, and the last song, "Love Dies Young," it definitely is going to have that kind of Motorhead inspired feel to it, which is totally cool. Dave Grohl and Lemmy were super tight. I've read interviews where Dave Grohl talks about the veneration and the friendship that he developed with Lemmy, and how much he respected his music and how much it inspired Dave as an artist over the last 25 years. But for a project that's supposed to be dance inspired, and where you almost even cite ABBA for the source of rhythm and drum beats on this record, Motorhead just seems out of place, especially in 9 songs. And the 8th song on the record is "Chasing Birds," which is a slow. I mean, it's 8 fast songs and then this slow song, which is the second to last track, and it really just throws off. It's not a bad song. It just throws off the feel of the record. It just feels out of place and weird. And yeah, I mean, and I also say, you know, I like things that are concise, but I also think that this record could have benefited from another song or two. Maybe that could have, you know, tied some of these concepts, these ideas that Dave Grohl is trying to put together with this record. But again, I'm gonna have to give this a vinyl pass. I enjoyed listening to it. It's worth checking out. The Medicine at Midnight track is great. Holding Poison is a great song again too. Nice riff in that song. It really reminded me of like the Kinks, the Cars, Robert Palmer. You know, kind of timeless actually. I mean, you talk about artists that span the time frame of 65 to almost up to the beginning of last decade. The Cars put out a record in 2011, which is crazy. So I would say check it out if you're a Foo Fighters fan. Check it out if you're into 80s inspired music. If you like Talking Head, David Bowie, there might be some songs on there that'll appeal to you. But overall, I'm going to keep it out of the record shelf until who knows, maybe down the line it grows on me. But I hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, help me grow this project, and tune in to the first live episode of the show happening on Sunday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Hope you all have an excellent weekend. Take care of yourselves.